There's a moment, and maybe you've felt it, when everything around you starts to feel like a poorly rehearsed play. The people, the routines, the polite small talk, it all becomes noise. At first, it's just a whisper, a quiet tug that something doesn't fit. But the whisper gets louder, the walls close in, and you realize you're not the person you used to be. The change isn't dramatic. You haven't shaved your head or packed your bags or screamed at the world. The change is internal. It's subtle, but seismic. You're thinking differently, feeling differently, questioning things you used to accept without blinking. And that alone is enough to make the world start shifting beneath your feet. People around you notice. They may not say it, but they feel it. You've disrupted the unspoken agreement. You're no longer playing your part, and nothing unsettles the status quo like someone who stops pretending. They'll joke. They'll offer unsolicited concern. They'll share advice with that slightly condescending smile. But what they won't do is admit they're scared. Scared of what you're becoming. Because in your growth, they see their stagnation. In your hunger, they feel their numbness. And in your defiance, they glimpse their own submission. Most people don't hate you for changing. They hate what your change reveals about them. You start to feel it, that distance. It's not rejection exactly. It's more like a fading. You speak, but they don't hear you. You share, but they don't connect. And you start wondering if maybe you've lost your mind. But here's the truth. You're not losing your mind. You're beginning to possess it for the first time. This is the cost of awakening, not the kind sold in spiritual retreats or framed in soft quotes, but the raw, painful awakening that tears through your illusions like wildfire, the kind that rips you from the comfort of belonging and forces you to stand naked in the storm of who you really are. And that storm, it's not an obstacle. It's the proving ground, the furnace. Because you cannot build a mind that is unshakable if you have never allowed it to be shaken to its core. There is a lie you've been told, that strength comes from peace, that confidence is born from praise, that growth is gentle. But the truth is sharper. Strength is carved in chaos. Confidence is wrestled from doubt. And growth, real growth, is violent. It breaks. It isolates. It demands everything. You will question everything you once believed. Your identity will splinter. The people you thought would never leave will drift away. And the world, at least for a while, will stop making sense. That's not failure. That's rebirth. Nietzsche knew this. He didn't romanticize pain, but he didn't flinch from it either. He stared into the abyss and dared it to blink first. And in that abyss, he found something most people spend their lives running from: responsibility. The death of God wasn't a celebration. It was a crisis, a tearing down of the comforting myth that someone, somewhere, is guiding this story. And when that myth crumbles, it leaves you standing alone, eyes wide open, hands trembling, realizing that if meaning is to exist, it must come from you. That's the burden. That's the liberation. You no longer get to blame the world. You no longer get to wait for someone to tell you what's right. You become the author, the judge, the creator. And with that power comes weight, immense weight. Most people run from it. They rush back to their tribes. They cling to ideologies. They beg for someone to tell them what to believe. But a few, a rare few, choose the harder path, the lonelier path. They choose to stand in the storm and build something from the rubble. Not a belief, not a brand, a being. And that being does not crave applause. It does not seek permission. It does not ask, "Is this okay?" It asks, "Is this true?" That's what Nietzsche meant by the Übermensch. Not a superhuman with powers, but a fully realized human being, self-forged, self-defined, untethered from the herd's morality. This isn't a motivational story. There's no easy triumph, no music swelling in the background, because what it takes to reach that level is not just hunger, it's sacrifice. You will have to burn what is false, even the parts you thought were you. You will lose the ability to be satisfied with shallow conversations. You will lose friends who needed you to stay small so they wouldn't feel so insecure. You will lose the comfort of certainty. But in that loss, something far more sacred is born. You will gain presence, integrity, silence that nourishes instead of suffocates. You will move through the world like a question mark with fire in its belly. You'll start to see things others don't. You'll feel the weight in their voices, the resignation in their laughter, the quiet panic behind their eyes. And you'll know, not in theory, but in your bones, that most people are not living. They're performing. That's when you'll face your next test. Not isolation, confrontation. Because the world doesn't like people who wake up. It will call you dangerous, difficult, intense. It will label your clarity as arrogance, your independence as coldness. It will try, in every subtle way, to pull you back into its sleep. And if you're not careful, you'll go. You'll tone yourself down. You'll fake interest. You'll pretend not to know what you know. And slowly, without realizing, you'll start wearing a mask again. Don't. If you've come this far, if you've started to feel that rift inside you, protect it like a flame in the wind. Because that discomfort, that loneliness, that's the signal. That's how you know you're getting close. You were not born to belong. You were born to become. But here's the part they never tell you. Becoming isn't glamorous. It's brutal. It's confusing. It will tear through your attachments like a storm through a village. And at times, it will feel like dying. Because in a way, it is. You're not adding layers. You're shedding them. And what's left, when the false has burned away, is something terrifying and beautiful. You. Fully, unapologetically, undeniably you. And that version of you, the one who does not seek approval, who does not wait to be chosen, who creates their own rhythm in a world addicted to noise, that version is rare, and rare things are always misunderstood. But don't let that scare you. Let it guide you, because your difference isn't a defect, it's your design. So what now? Now you stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for your evolution. You stop shrinking to fit into boxes you've outgrown, and you start walking, not toward a destination, but into the unknown, with your eyes open and your spine straight. Because once you've tasted this level of freedom, of awareness, of self-possession, there is no going back. You may be misunderstood. You may be feared, but you will never again be broken. Let me say this clearly. You don't owe anyone a version of yourself that makes them comfortable. You don't have to dim your light to ease someone else's insecurity. The world needs more people who are real, not agreeable. And realness costs. It costs you your image, your likability, sometimes even your relationships. But the reward is unmatched. Peace that doesn't depend on circumstance, and power that doesn't require permission. You will walk alone, and at times it will hurt, but that hurt is cleaner than the ache of living a lie. That hurt transforms. That solitude clarifies. Let the world misinterpret you. Let them get it wrong. The ones who are meant to walk beside you won't need an explanation. And the ones who do, you don't need them anyway. So here's your challenge. Don't shrink. Don't fake. Don't fold. Hold your ground in a world that wants you to forget who you are. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Live like your soul depends on it, because it does. And if all of this resonates with something deep inside you, it's not coincidence. It's memory. a remembering of who you were before the world told you who to be. You don't need more answers. You need more courage. This is your reminder. Becoming unbreakable isn't about what you can endure. It's about what you're no longer willing to become, just to survive. Choose that. Choose you.